Some have described the COVID-19 pandemic as a great equalizer because it has affected the lives of individuals across the spectrum of age, race, and income. But the reality is the COVID-19 crisis has highlighted and exacerbated inequality that is deeply ingrained in our society. As an inequality scholar, the implications of COVID-19 for poverty and racial inequality are particularly concerning. While it is true that racial disparities in poverty have narrowed over time, Blacks and Latinos have significantly higher poverty rates than whites and Asians. This is relevant to the COVID-19 crisis, given low-wage workers, particularly those who are Black and Latino, are more likely to experience job and income losses and are more likely to be essential frontline workers who face greater COVID exposure. The U.S. coronavirus economic stimulus, though helpful, is not a cure-all. Many families cannot afford bills, food, healthcare, and other necessities. And considering that pre-pandemic, almost 40% of Americans could not afford a $400 emergency, loss of wages can be devastating. Not to mention, existing racial disparities in income and wealth mean Blacks and Latinos are especially at a disadvantage during times like these. A recent Columbia study projects up to millions of Americans can fall into poverty if unemployment rates continue to climb during the pandemic, with Blacks and Latinos experiencing the largest poverty increases. The federal government must do more to combat poverty and racial disparities. However, much has been left to the state's discretion. But not only is there variation in states' responses to the crisis, there is variation in state support and implementation of policies more generally. For example, researchers find less public support for welfare programs and less cash income assistance distributed when the concentration of Blacks is higher in a state. Such state differences can translate into less support for residents who need it most. And this is on top of any potential state and local government budget cuts, such as to education and public transportation, areas that would disproportionately impact low-income and minority residents. The end result of all of this is that racial disparities are likely to widen as more Americans fall into poverty, and many already in poverty find it harder to escape.